Namaste, angels. This is the weekly love reading for the period of today, Sunday, December 29th through Saturday to come, January 4th, 2020. Let's see what we're moving out of and what we're getting ready to move into in terms of love with these cards. We've got one for fire, one for earth, one for air, and one for water. To start out with, that's not all I'm doing. I like to do multiple spreads and look from multiple perspectives at what the situation is. We have an overall energy of the Six of Swords upright. Six of Swords upright in terms of love means you might need to change the scenery up. Might need to do something different. Maybe you should even take a trip if you're able to get away. And it is holiday time, so some of us have days, some of us have time, and you can take a vacation off of work or whatever it is. You should do that. If you've been thinking about visiting somebody, maybe even surprising them, you should do that. If you're already in a relationship, consider taking your mate on a trip. If you're already in a relationship and you're close, you're not long distance. If you're in a long distance relationship, consider going to see them or having them to come out to see you. And then, if you're already in the same place, and whether you're feeling, as tight as ever in terms of a couple or distance between you, you still may want to change up the scenery in terms of locality, like local stuff, and, do something different, like get out of the house and, go out to do something. Maybe you've been forgetting date night or something like that. It's a good time to do that. If you're looking for love, then you need to get out too, get out of your normal like routines and practices. And again, switch it up, try something different. If somebody asks you to go out, maybe you were planning on spending New Year's Eve at home. All right, what are you getting into? Oh, nothing. I'm just going to watch the ball drop. Okay, that's cool. Nothing against that. That's cool. But if somebody offers you an opportunity, a bunch of us were going to go down to the whatever, you should come. Yeah, you should come. You should go. And, try to do something different. Change up the places you go to. If you have a typical bar or whatever you hang out at, a club or home where everybody likes to go and, go to one person's home, try switching it and doing something different, going to somebody else's house or a different bar, going to play pool instead of darts. I don't know. You guys get the idea. Bowling instead of pool. Yeah. Okay. So that's the overall energy for us all. And there's a lot of swords. That's the Six of Swords. There's the Knight of Swords, the Two of Swords, the Three of Swords. And probably because yesterday, the 28th, Mercury, the sign that the planet rather that rules the signs of Gemini and Virgo, entered Capricorn. That's probably where all the swords are coming from. And whereas the Six of Swords is about moving on, metaphorically, or literally, it could be about moving again and traveling. Maybe people are thinking about cohabitation. Go for it. Yeah, change the scenery. Move out of your house into his house, into her house, or get a house together, and start setting up, start, redecorating. That's a change of scenery too. Change up your room and stuff like that. But yeah, moving on to the element of fire. Your card this week is the Hanged Man upright. And where that's about moving on or moving forward, this is about letting go. It could be about letting go of your old routine. And again, switching it up, letting go of the idea of the specific type of person you want in your life or specific type of relationship, and stop like overly, specifying everything and limiting the universe and what it can give you and limiting God's like hand and stuff like that. The universe, God, however you want to choose to call it and look at it. Our brains can't conceive what it's able to give us. So when we put out limitations like that, as if we're smarter, I want exactly this, we block our blessings. Let the universe give you something. So maybe you need to let go of what you've been trying to, again, focus on. It's about, yes, we're supposed to focus on stuff and hold an intention. That's what manifestation is about, but overly specifying. Like I saw one of these memes yesterday, and I posted a few memes on my page, about manifestation and, this week you will be blessed in, this kind of way or that kind of way, but it was broad. Then I saw one that said something like, about specifically $10 million. And I didn't post that one for that reason. Like, you don't tell the universe it's only $10 million. It might want to give me $10 trillion, $10 billion. You know what I'm saying? So no. You might want to let go of that sort of thing. Like, I want this exact person or this exact type of relationship, and open your mind to other things. You also may be focused on somebody that is unavailable, unattainable. And it could be emotionally unavailable. It could be, again, distant. There's all kind of things. You may want to let go of that. It's like it's not happening either at all or the way that you wanted or in the time that you wanted. So release your grip on the situation. And that may be why we have this Four of Earth here. Four of Earth, and it's really not one of my favorite cards at all. It showed up here on the Angel Tarot. Being too frivolous or too cautious with money, good business decisions, and giving to those less fortunate. It doesn't only mean that. It can be holding on too tightly to something or someone. And in this case, we're talking about love, someone. Also, for me, the Four of Earth is about like the need to get rid of something, really, to let go of something. And we're sort of refusing because we're looking at this, the small ways that from which we benefit, from the thing or person. Like the cons really outweigh the pros, but we're looking for reasons to hold on. So it's like when you have a job and you don't like the job and you don't like the people and they don't like you, and it's just a miserable existence, except you get a paycheck. So that's why you're still there. Same thing can be true of relationships. Miserable existence. As a matter of fact, I was watching this morning, Iyanla Fix Your Life, and this woman, Neffy, Keisha Cole's sister, she was on with her husband, and they lived in the same house, but they had different rooms. They weren't sleeping in the same bed, and this was going on for years and years, and they were both absolutely miserable. But they split a house. They share the bills and whatever. And so that's why they were doing it. This Four of Earth shows up to say, like, that's really not reason enough, and you got to start following your heart, and you got to let that relationship go. Ultimately, that's what she told them to do too. She told them to love each other enough to let one another go. And since we're talking about love, somebody that's watching needs to do that also. Love your mate or your intended, your crush or whatever, enough to let them go, and pray that somebody will love you enough to do the same if they're holding you, stifling you. Particularly for long-term relationships, speaking of that sort of situation, married and stuck, this can be about being at a crossroads as it relates to love and needing to figure out, where do we go from here, if anywhere? If you want to save the relationship, you think the relationship is good, it's a good time to communicate. Maybe that's another reason why all the swords are showing up. Sitting next to the Knight of Swords. And usually when the Knight of Swords shows up, there's a decision that somebody has to make, or they're awaiting. So you could be awaiting a decision from your partner as to how they feel about the relationship and whether or not they want to save it. Partner or intended, again, crush or whatever. Or, you may need to make a similar decision. What to do? Do I want to stay in this relationship? Am I ready to let it go? What's my next move? Like, there's a few decisions in there when you look at it that way. Oh, goodness, I didn't do the dice. Let me do them and get them out of the way. We're beginning with eat cake. So the sun just entered Capricorn on the 21st, and the sign officially started on the 22nd on most calendars. So happy birthday, Capricorn, the first deacon Capricorn, to anybody who is celebrating. If you have another reason to eat cake, eat cake. I have a special reason. Maybe I'll eat some cake on the 3rd, which is also the feast day of the Holy Name of Jesus. Any other reasons? Anniversaries, weddings, baby showers, engagements, other announcements, New Year's Eve, maybe, you're celebrating, you eat some cake. Romantic dinner. All right, so similarly, the lighting is weird here. There we go, romantic dinner. And yes, definitely could be an engagement going on there. Somebody popping the question, answer is yes. That may be why the Three of Summers here, in addition to the fact that, New Year's Eve, people are going to be celebrating and stuff. You have an exciting reason to celebrate, such as an engagement, wedding, graduation, or a birth announcement. Remember to cherish those you love. Guess what's under this when I picked it up? The Four of Autumn. So it's another Four of Pentacles, right? I just talked about this one. Now we got two here. I didn't know. Be cautious about living a life of extremes or seeing things in black and white terms. Consider, for example, whether you're spending too much versus hoarding your wealth, or giving too much emotionally versus building up walls that keep people out. Behind it is the Seven of Winter or Swords, also upright. And that can be about somebody trying to come back into your life. Look, this bird has a key in its mouth. Can I come home? It's like that sort of thing. Caution will help you to avoid the loss of valuables. Maybe your relationship, right? If that's valuable to you, hold on to it. Caution will help you to avoid the loss of it, including non-material resources. Also, like your relationships, but also time and peace of mind. Be aware of the results of your actions as well as what others might be doing behind your back. I spoke about that for the Earth signs yesterday. Was it the Earth? I don't remember, but I spoke about it in this portion of the general reading. And I spoke about it in the Virgo bi-weekly reading that goes through today. Consider what you may lose before you go back to somebody from your past, or go towards somebody to your future, or consider what you may lose by staying with the person in your present and not going back to somebody in your past and not going back to somebody in your future. But be present enough in the moment to focus on what you need to do now, as opposed to just daydreaming and thinking about stuff, which could also be another reason the Hangman is showing up. Right, Hangman all about like head in the clouds, and that's the Piscean energy. Hangman represents the sign of Pisces. That's the Neptune. Indecision. What should I do? Who should I do? Where should I do? Anyway, I shook up these dice. I'm being very Gemini today. I'm seriously all over the place. I apologize. Spirit says, weekend away. What is the wrong with the focus here? Yeah, weekend away. Party. And email. So the dice say pretty much what the cards say, right? Weekend away. Party. And what was the other one? Email. Knight of Swords. All right. So also upright behind here is, oh goodness, the Princess of Spring. So the Page of Wands. This also could be about travel. The Wands cards are often about movement and stuff. Movement, travel, moving. Energetic, outgoing, optimistic, and creative. Creative opportunities that you feel passionate about are fluttering your way. Personal growth and broadened horizons will spark fresh and original ideas. The Princess of Spring is, for me, a Sagittarius first and foremost, but of course an Aries, a Leo, or someone that's not even a fire sign, but just likened to those traits or attributes. The Queen of Wands, also upright, is the last one. Talented, brilliant, independent, and charming. Don't underestimate your ability to manifest your dreams. You may have several priorities vying for your attention at once, but you can do it. The Queen of Spring is also, of course, a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. This could be representative specifically of the divine feminine energy. In the tarot, the Queen of Spring is like the quintessential divine feminine. And could also be representing Jupiter, which is the ruler of Sagittarius, or even Mars, which enters Sagittarius this week. So the red planet, Mars, ruler of the sign of Aries, moves into Sagittarius, which is also a fire sign. Just some stuff to think about. All right, so now let's go into the Knight of Swords. That might not look very romantic, but whoa. Knight of Swords showing up in your love reading can really, really mean you're about to be swept off your feet. Whether you're a man, a woman, masculine, feminine, it don't matter. You feel a little bit of both, all of the above, whatever, do your thing. All of that is good. All of that is cool. If you're already in a committed relationship, it's probably about to like kick up a notch. And again, maybe engagement. Somebody could be proposing with the romantic dinner and the yes dice and the celebrations that we saw. But even if it's not getting that serious, like a deepening of commitment and just really, really things getting exciting. Like I said, I'm real hyped today. Maybe it's the Mercury that moved into Capricorn. I'm very Gemini today. And that's how this is. It's like, let's get moving. Let's get moving. I'm not wasting any more time. So the relationship getting a lot deeper, a lot more, feeling a lot more genuinely like heartfelt, a lot more satisfying, just what you've been waiting for, what you've been looking for coming. I'm kind of jealous actually, because this is for the earth signs. And it makes sense because in the general reading, the card that was for the earth signs was, it was the high priestess, I think, upright. And that just means tons of suitors and things being interested in you. And the high priestess also a Gemini, at least the way I read it. And so that could be what the Knight of Swords represents too. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. I think there's an Aquarius moon today too. That could be another reason for all of the air energy. If you're single, looking for love, it could come like when you least expect it. Again, get out there especially if you're invited someplace, you have an opportunity to go someplace. Maybe that's why the Page of Wands was here, to give us an opportunity to meet somebody. You could meet them. You could be at the grocery store, and I met somebody at the grocery store once. He was a Sagittarius too. He was a Sagittarius, yeah, but he was only 28, so it didn't work. But yeah, and then for a second, because he was like 6'5" and with the beard, so I didn't know he was only 28. Anyway, it can happen right there over the fruit. Somebody can come up and start, try to holler. So I see that. Wherever would be least expected for you. Church, maybe. Meet some, good ones in church with the same ideologies as you, or wherever it is, your place of worship or interest, or where down to the place where you do your yoga, your meditation. So you got the same, maybe Buddhist ideologies or something, same sort of spirituality. That's where you can meet somebody. But again, if you have an opportunity to get dressed up for a night on the town, do it. Take the opportunity. Don't miss it. Air signs. What it do? My fellow air signs, my fellow Aquarians. I said there's an Aquarius moon today. I too am an Aquarius moon and a Gemini sun. Okay, Two of Swords in reverse also can mean kind of like the Crossroad, not really in the same vein as the Hangman, but it's a time to be intentional, not so fly by night like air signs can be, and here we have this Knight of Swords even crossing the Two of Swords. So this is very much our energy here. We got to be careful and not try to push things forward. Make sure we remain in a place where things are organic. Even if somebody comes back to you, like I said, that Seven of Swords look like somebody maybe wanting to return. That's what it can mean in terms of love. And it's crossing the Nine of Swords. So maybe somebody's going to sweep us off our feet, or because we're the air sign, we're getting ready to sweep somebody else off their feet. And all that's good. But then once we catch them, try to take things. I'm not saying you got to slow it down like an earth sign, no offense, earth signs, but you don't have to be the Knight of Pentacles. But we're going to want to make sure that we allow things to be organically. We also, if we are single and we meet somebody, we should definitely get out and mingle. Same way I've been telling the other signs so far. But if we meet somebody, and we very well may, there's a really, really good chance that we will, it could take some time before the relationship really develops, to the level that we would hope it would. So it's going to be important to be patient. And I know that's not necessarily the easiest thing for an air sign to do, but this is our plight this week. It's only a weekly reading. So, you can do it, at least for now. Water signs, you had a 3 in the general reading, but it was Major Arcana card 3, the Empress. So you too, very, very attractive, like the earth signs this week. However, your card is the 3 of Swords in reverse. So maybe because it's the end of the year, you're doing some thinking, it's holiday time. Maybe that's why, you could be feeling a little bit melancholy. The 3 of Swords in reverse can indicate misunderstandings, so arguments. You guys have been having the best cards for at least a month. You've been on a streak better than any of the other elements. The water signs have been having the best cards. So, you know, maybe you're having your first disagreement or your first argument, or you want to take a break, or your mate asked you, let's take a break. With the Six of Swords here, can be about break. There could be something that's sadness, that is sorrow. Maybe you're going through some wonderful times in your love life too, and somebody is, you know, not there to see it. Your mom, your dad, you know, somebody else that you care about is not around. So that's how your love life is being affected with this Three of Swords in reverse. Whatever it is, allow yourself to feel the emotions and, you know, just to feel. Allow yourself to feel. But don't allow yourself to beat yourself up. Don't allow it to turn into a blame game of if I, you know, especially if it's about like a breakup or something, or a break, you know, if only I had done this and only I had, you know, like, be careful of that. I feel that possibly coming up with this card. So taking on negative emotions of guilt again, and blame, and being deprivating. Yeah. Persecution, self-inflicted hurt and pain. It's just, don't try to stay away from it. I know it's easier said than done, but try to stay away from that. And keep in mind that we all have, you know, there's many different types of soulmates, and of all the types, we all have more than one. So if it was a break up completely that you're dealing with, somebody else is coming, right? People are like buses. One leaves, next one coming. What's the other cliche? One door closes, another one opens. Yeah, it's the same type of thing. And we just saw that there was tons of opportunity coming here today, including opportunity for somebody to return to your life. Now, wait a minute. Oh, okay. I picked up one extra card, the Nine of Spring in reverse. I had stopped at the Nine of Spring before because it's in reverse. And now I came to this, and I'm like, the Eight of Winter. I thought it was the Seven of Winter. It is the Seven of Winter that I had picked up before. So now I guess we're meant to see the Eight of Winter. Some of us feeling stuck, trapped. And it's so easy to convince yourself that you're trapped in your situation when you really aren't. Trust that God will lift you to new heights and give you a greater sense of self-confidence if you first affirm your own freedom. Again, the Moon in Aquarius today, which is all about freedom. And maybe getting some messages, communication, things are buzzing around, universe working on our behalf behind the scenes. You've been presented with many wonderful opportunities all at once. While this may feel very stressful, remember to be grateful for the blessings that heaven sends you. Because you deserve it. It's the Three of Autumn. Your most satisfying and profitable career, not just career, your relationships, and any and everything in your life comes from following your passions, listening to your heart, and doing what brings you joy. Your self-purpose, your life purpose. Well, yeah, your self-purpose. Your life purpose is best fulfilled by allowing your talents and true self to shine forth out into the world. And this is now the last upright card. And guess what's behind it? The Three of Winter, or Swords, in reverse. So I think I was meant to talk about that, or to go through more of these cards, maybe particularly for the water signs, to show them that there was definitely something else coming for them. And again, because they deserve it, maybe reconciliation with Major Arcana card 20, renewal or judgment, sitting here behind that Three of Swords in reverse. It's time to get clarity about your life purpose, and to make changes so that you're on the path most divinely suited to you. Forgive what has been without judgment. So that's what I was talking about, like not taking on the negative emotions and holding on to that. That includes yourself, like forgiving you too, without judgment. And fearlessly embrace what's to come, because something else is coming, maybe with an earth sign, because earth is sitting right above you, and we have that Knight of Swords there who is ready to sweep somebody off their feet, perhaps. Maybe specifically a Virgo is your earth sign, with Major Arcana card 9, the Hermit, sitting here. Or perhaps you're guided to do some introspection. Go within, think about what it is you want. who it is you want, your path, all of those things. Take time for contemplation, to retreat, and to go within. Be a beacon for others on their path to spiritual enlightenment as well, if you can. And lastly, offers of love coming, not just for the water signs, but I just feel like I was meant to emphasize on them for a while. And this is your energy, right? This is the water, the princess of summer, or page of cups, who is sensitive, kind, open-hearted, and inexperienced. You can expect to kindle a new romantic relationship or a close platonic friendship. You may suddenly receive an emotional message from someone or be invited to a social event. So maybe that's why you're down, you're out, because, again, maybe you're thinking, you're being nostalgic, so it's got you feeling melancholy. Maybe somebody calls you up and says, "Well, again, we're all getting together. We're going to hang out," and you might feel like just continuing to sit around and judge yourself in your PJs. But go ahead and get dressed and go out if that opportunity comes. And I think you may be pleasantly surprised. Okay. All right, let's get into another spread. Take these away just momentarily. So I got the Ascended Master deck here, beginning with health and healing, and this green border. So it always makes me feel very earth energy like. He's also wearing a green shirt, so brings in that earth energy for me. Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, and Hilarion. Next to that, my Psychic Tarot for the Heart, a deck that I haven't used in forever, until yesterday when I recorded the general reading. This set is by John Holland. And this is kind of like the Major Arcana card for the deck. Major Arcana card 16, it's called Rebuild. In the traditional tarot, Major Arcana card 16 is the Tower. So I think it's a play on that, right? Something gets tower, gets destroyed, and then we rebuild it. It's very Lord Shiva, right? Shiva the Destroyer. He comes in, he knocks everything down so it can be rebuilt on a better foundation. We already talked at length about what's here. But yes, we're starting with the Three of Summer, or the Three of Cups, all about celebrations, reunions, get-togethers, gatherings. And with the Angel Tarot, the Four of Earth, which we also talked about, Four of Pentacles. We talked about and we discovered we have two of. So I think I'm going to do the first spread from the perspective of the masculine with this deck by John Holland, the Psychic Tarot for the Heart. And I think I'll read the first one from the book. Not that I can't tell you what the Tower is all about or give you an intuitive meaning, but just because, again, I haven't used these in a long time, I don't necessarily call the book meanings, the author's meanings, and I just think it may add something because this tarot is specifically about love. You know what I mean? So let's see what he has to say about it. Key words associated with this card: collapse, expose, create, pretense, revelation, and awareness. The dynamics of a relationship can often be complicated. The longer you've been in a relationship, the more complex it can be. Relationships begin to grow many layers consisting of joys, sorrows, honesty, and duplicity. As these layers build up on top of each other, it becomes increasingly difficult to know what the core of the relationship is based on. Maybe that's why you got to knock it down, destroy it, and rebuild it. What was once love may now appear to be merely tolerance. This is what I was talking about with the Four of Pentacles, which we saw twice for this week. So some people are dealing with that, and maybe it's the water signs for the most part who are dealing with it because they had that Three of Swords in reverse. So yeah, merely it says maybe what was once love now may only appear to be tolerance or worse. Even in good relationships, you may find yourself growing apart from the person. And that can be why the Six of Swords was our overall energy and why we need to change things up, switch it up. In either case, the weight of these layers can cause a relationship to collapse. Now may be a good time to start fresh with one or more of your relationships. Peel off the layers one by one. Cut away any pretense, that means bullshit and falsity, right? Fakeness. And see what may be revealed. Find the core of the relationship and decide if it's still what you want. That could be connected to the Hangman too, right? Remember the Hangman is like, We need to let go of our idea of a relationship, maybe. You got to strip away the bullshit and see if anything real, any real foundation still remains once you do that. I'm glad I read this because I think it's connecting to every card I just went over. So find the core of the relationship, decide if it's still what you want, and if what you find attractive. If so, then discard the old layers and consciously create a new commitment with this person or the persons. One that's based on truth, honesty, and love. Use the awareness gained by this exercise to steer the relationship on a clear, steady course. The same applies to rebuilding the relationship with yourself. Examine your many layers. So this can also be connected to the hermit and the introspection. Examine your many layers of joy, sorrow, success, and failure, and think about how they're affecting your ability to love yourself and therefore to find love. Expose the false voices that tell you that you're unworthy and silence them. And we just saw the Three of Pentacles, which for me means you are worthy. It's abundance that is earned. So you're being rewarded. And so judgment too, for me, is about reward. When you do, your true value will be revealed. Rebuild your life around unconditional love for yourself and invite in unconditional love from others. And they have this affirmation at the end that you can recite to yourself. I cut to the core of my relationships and consciously rebuild them. I like that. And it does say that the traditional tarot archetype for this card is indeed the Tower. All right, so first spread from the perspective of the masculine. Divine feminine, the masculine as it relates to the feminine himself and the union or connection as a whole. Overall, what energy the masculine would have the feminine, let me move it up a little bit, would give to the union or connection this week. What energy he himself is willing to, what the universe would have each or both of us do and even wants to help us with, but we have to first affirm because we have free will, and the outcome. Again, overall energy, the Tower or rebuild, which is a nicer way to say it. Divine feminine. Major Arcana card 4, lead. This is the Emperor. Okay, the Emperor represents the sign of Aries in the tarot, and it is about taking control of your life. It is about leadership. Some of us feminine may be male, right? And maybe a father, maybe a marrying kind, or a man that's interested in getting married, man with children, a divorcee, a widower. And we're just trying to get back into life, into love, into life, and to deepen our relationships. And maybe we're thinking about leading and or being a provider, even if we identify as the feminine. And we all have an inner masculine and feminine, so that could be the way that it's coming through as well. Even if you identify as the masculine, this can still be you being led maybe by your feminine side right now. Speaking of lead or being led. Because we just had a new moon, and moons are representative of feminine energy, and particularly feminine energy of surrender for me. The masculine as it relates to the feminine, share the love. And it's another 3. 3s are about creation and co-creation. So this is a very Three of Earth kind of card. Again, the Three of Pentacles for me is about abundance that is earned. So you're getting something not just because, but because you've done the work, you earned it, you deserve it, you are worthy. That's why we're going to have this love. This again can be about people cohabitating or sharing relationships, deepening of commitments, or many, many things. But it's coming to you because you've earned it. You through your karma or some other act or labor on this plane that you did. The masculine as relates to himself, crown chakra. This is very air. And it's a card number 7 too. If anybody's into numbers like I am, another number weirdo. So this is very air. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. It is about our thoughts. It is about our communication. And you may want to work on your crown chakra to get thoughts and words flowing. Maybe you have something to say that's going to help you to share the love. could be blocked. Masculine on the union as a whole is 14, balance. So then this is about masculine and feminine coming together. Maybe even like a trading places kind of thing. That maybe that's why the feminine got the emperor, and the masculine in relation to the feminine got this 3 of, again, like a earth card, and major arcana card 3, the empress, is a 3 of earth kind of card too. So that maybe that's why that's showing up like that, like the emperor and the empress. And we've switched places, and here they have both the masculine and the feminine coming together as one person too. And we see this like inertia here. Balance, or 14 in the tarot, is temperance, which represents the sign of Sagittarius. I call it my card that is for healing and holding, because it is about restoration, coming together. One's inner masculine and feminine coming together in a harmonious way too. So it could be about the couple, and it could be about one as an individual too, moving into a healthier space so that they can be a couple. Overall, it's another 3, and it's another card about the lead. Take the lead. I think this one is like a 3 of fire. 3 of fire can mean that some patience is going to be required too. So yes, take the lead, initiate, get something started. Let's make the next move. But then we may have to take our time progressing until we get up to like we rebuild and we get up to the solid foundation together. What the masculine would have the feminine give to the union or connection this week? Oh, man. It is 6, love, which is like the lovers. Major arcana card 6 in the tarot is the lovers, which represents the sign of Gemini. So there's your air again. Gemini most directly, but of course the other air signs, could be attached to this too. Aquarius, Libra. But the masculine would have the feminine give love. I love that. What he himself is willing to. It is joy and stability. It's another 4. Do you see what's happening here? With the numbers and everything? Joy and stability is what he wants to give. Then I say he wants to provide. He wants to provide. Okay, there's the reconfirmation of that. What the universe would have each or both give, and even wants to help us with, but we have to first affirm because we have free will. It is the Empress. Boom. 3. They call it nurture here. But this is the Empress. So she wants, the universe wants to help us with co-creation, with abundance, with fertility. It could be in a metaphoric sense in terms of, again, new thoughts, new ideas, and growing new things together. Or in terms of sexuality and attractiveness. Again, the Empress is super attractive. Or, in literal fertility, and this is a good time for you to get pregnant. And it definitely is, because you know what? The Empress showed up like 3 times in the general reading also. Or some of us may be actually giving birth this week, or finding out, with what sex or gender baby we are pregnant. Maybe some twins this week also. Somebody learning they're pregnant with twins. I'm just seeing like all these cards have, like these 2 people. Here's this one guy, but here's like another version of him. And then here we have, one person, but it's made up of 2 people. Maybe paternal twins. The Empress. There's 3 threes so far. 1, 2, 3. These are all 3. And the outcome. Change your focus. So yeah, like I was saying with the last spread, or like the last spread was showing us that we need to change like the scenery, the focus, the way we think, the perspective, if we want to continue to move forward. And this looks like a very positive card, because you see like the sky is clear, birds are flying. There's 3 over here, 1's left back here. That may mean something again in terms of, numbers for the number weirdos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trees. 7s are about spirituality. So that could be a change of focus too. Again, we're thinking of ourselves and as in a different way, maybe as spiritual beings now. And so that's how our relationships are evolving as well. I'm glad I used those. And let's try to get one in from the perspective of the universe, divine being or couple. You guys know these are for singles, for couples, separation, together, married, unmarried, all of it. You know, when I say married, I mean man's law. So divine being a couple, recent past, near future, masculine's higher self, blocks to individual or shared progress, what the feminine can do to help herself, what the masculine can, what the universe will have each or both of us do to help ourselves, but we have to first affirm because we have free will, and the outcome. Divine being or couple, for another four. The Four of Wands, the Four of Spring. It's time to kick back, to relax, and to celebrate all that you have. Joy arises from success in your career, the completion of a project, or a very happy home life. Again, this can be about one person being happy by themselves, just having a good life, maybe remodeling, changing your focus, changing your perspective, changing your decor, you know, very literally. It could be about cohabitation. It can be about engagement. It can be about marriage. Whatever is making you happy, deepening of commitments, meeting somebody and just feeling really, really good about it. Recent past, Four of Summer, another four. So this was like being melancholy and disappointment and not expecting much, being doubtful, pessimistic. Your responsibility may distract you from noticing all the gifts that God is presenting to you. Be open to investigating opportunities that come your way. Near future. Major Arcana card 8, Justice, which represents the sign of Libra. And of course, maybe attached to the other air signs as well, Gemini, Aquarius. Fair decisions will be made after all of the evidence is reviewed impartially. Have compassion for others and try to see all sides of a disagreement. You know, this can go either way. For some people, this can be about divorce and who gets the house, that sort of thing. Or it can be about marriage, you know, standing before a justice of the peace. It's also about balance, things finally evening out, the scales evening out, and people being treated fairly by, you know, the universe restoring things, like temperance is restorative. So those energies work together. Masculine's higher self. The 10 of Winter, the end of a career path, project, or relationship brings feelings of mixed joy and sadness, relief and disappointment. Put aside your fears about these changes and trust that a brighter future awaits. So it's guiding him to not be pessimistic, but to look forward to the future, even if things have been shitty in the past. Blocks to individual or shared progress. The Chariot. Maybe not, this could be physically not being able to move. Like maybe you didn't have the funds to move or something going on with the car. You needed a vehicle, inability to travel. Or in a metaphoric sense, the block is failure to move, right? Or stop and go energy. Like you started something and then you don't follow through. You can now successfully balance. So here's the balance again. It's crossing the justice and all that. Successfully balance various or opposing energies at once through determination and focus. You've earned the rewards and recognition that you're receiving. I think that's been a block too, and not feeling deserving, not feeling worthy. And we saw that, or that was evident, at least to me, in, you know, the first two spreads where, like, again, judgment needed to show up. The Three of Pentacles needed to show up to show us that we are worthy, to show us that we're getting abundance that we've earned. We are deserving. What the feminine can do to help herself. The Two of Winter. So same card the air signs just got in the first spread. Procrastination and worrying about what others will think is blocking you from making a decision. If you're torn between your own desires and someone else's, follow your inner guidance. So what the feminine can do to help herself is follow her own inner guidance in her own heart. And be sort of like the high priestess, right? Take everything in consideration that's available to you and then decide what your next move is. And maybe don't share it until, you know, you've done it or you're ready to do it. So nobody, like what they say, like salts you. You know, when you're getting ready to do something and you tell too many people, then it gets messed up because they send their negative energy because they're jealous and misery loves company. Yeah, so don't tell anybody what the next move is. What the masculine can do to help himself. the World. He's coming out of a situation that's so maybe he's moving, right? That was the block. He hadn't been able to move out of a situation, maybe out of a relationship, out of the house. He needed, maybe he was staying with his parents or whatever. But now that's coming to an end. That situation is changing. It's another 3, Major Arcana card 21, the World. Congratulations on successfully accomplishing what you've set out to do. You've made it through the challenges and incorporated the lessons that life offered you with grace and courage. The World for me feels like fire, could be attached to a fire sign. I usually think it's because it's Jupiter, it's Mars who's pushing something forward. They're stepping in. Because again, we didn't do something on our own. It's like, I call it my waiting to exhale card, because you can finally take a sigh of relief, like, oh, like that's finally over. This relationship that I needed to get out of a long time ago, this job I needed to leave, or whatever was holding you back, living condition, home. I needed a new car so I could, move further away or whatever and save some money because I'm no longer in the city, whatever the case is. Like we had an opportunity to do it before. We missed the opportunity. Right? That's why this is in the past. We missed the opportunity. But now the universe steps in to help us and to do it instead. And it's similar to the Tower, but it's slow. Like we get eased out of the situation that is not working for us and eased into one that is more befitting of us. Right? So it's like the Tower, but slow. Tower is abrupt. You ain't ready. Like when the Tower comes. What the universe would have each or both of us do and even wants to help us with, but we have to first affirm because we have free will. Wants to give us all kinds of blessings, wants to give us all kind of help, and maybe even wants to give us an earth sign, maybe an earth sign, male specifically. Compassionate, accomplished, charismatic, and grounded. Projects will be stunningly successful. Exciting new career opportunities are possible, and money or resources that come your way will be invested wisely. So like I was saying, I was feeling that maybe the masculine didn't have money to move or to buy a vehicle or to travel, to get a plane ticket, whatever. And the universe could be wanting to help us with money specifically. That could be what the King of Pentacles is. A new job, so he can further himself, so he can get his own apartment or whatever. But this is for us too, for the feminine. So whatever kind of abundance we were in need of, universe wanting to help with that, we have to manifest. We have to call upon it. Yes, universe, I want it. I accept, I receive. And the outcome. The Emperor, yet again, Major Arcana card 4. And this again could be about getting married, because the Emperor is like a married man to me, or the marrying kind. It's also about leadership. It's also about, organization. And in terms of love, it's like this very man's man kind of energy, very masculine kind of energy, like I'll take care of everything. We're going to be stable and secure. Structure and organization are important right now. Don't be afraid to take on a leadership role, as you have much wisdom to offer. Major Arcana card 4, the Emperor represents the planet Mars for me, which again moves into the sign of Sagittarius this week. Yes, it moves in this week. I was going to say it happened yesterday. No, yesterday Mercury moved into Capricorn. In a couple of days, Mars moves into Sagittarius. And so that may be why that's showing up. Mars, ruler of Aries and Scorpio.